There have been so many art movements across the world, Surrealism being one of them, which was the after effects of World War I, wherein the artists started expressing themselves into illogical scenes. So to say, the word illogical is subjective to one's understanding. For the society, for example, you've known that art or fashion has evolved before, architecture has, and all of that makes the society together. So there are so many reasons for what happens to design. This is the aerial view wherein these are the adjectives that we have used, which is moods, emotions, experience, inspiration. Respected everyone, I'm here, I'm Kirti Dodeja, I call myself interior architect, as she rightly mentioned. To clarify that is when you study in Europe for 5 years or more for the education. So as an interior designer, for the elaborate study, they call you an interior architect. So you're above the interior designer in terms of your experience and expressions, and then it's so-called interior architect. I would begin with introducing myself and presenting a part of my journey with you. I feel it's imperative to do so before we delve into what I do in order to understand why I do so. So I studied in Sir J.J. School of Art in Mumbai, and it's a new Gothic architecture. It's over a 166-year-old institution, and we have notable alumni coming from this university who has walked the same spaces in different timelines. So that would be me with my batch. I had the opportunity to go to the Mecca of Design World in Milan, in Italy. I studied at Domus Academy, where I won the 5th international scholarship to go and study for a Masters in Interior and Living Design in Italy. This is Good Home's first print feature after the pandemic. We all know that they paused printing in pandemic, and this was their first print feature featuring 12 women designers in the country who are influencing the design, and I was fortunate and honored enough to be part of this 12 women list. These are some of our projects, which includes projects from Noida and some of the works that we have done for Maharaj Kumar Saab from the City Palace. This is the feature that Good Homes has covered us, wherein they've specially talked about the spaces that we have done at the City Palace for Maharaj Kumar Saab, Laksharaj Singh Ji Mewar. On the left image, he has graced us to take this frame. And in the background, if you see, there is this unfinished rock-cut wall, which is helped to us by Dazzle Marble, who's also the sponsor of the space. The idea of that wall was we're all work in progress. So the behind the wall, you see it's all rock cut, half-done finish, and you're coming out of it. And the part that is done being formed into a person or personality is the finished wall. The middle image we'll be talking about soon, and this is one of the powder room spaces that we have done for him. This is a house that Architectural Digest covered for us for the minimal design that we have done for a client in Greater Noida. This is covered by Way magazine in Italy, same house, but it's interesting to see and note how they have bridged that an Eastern designer, such as myself, have come from Italy, studied there, and using some ethos and design practices, and how it bridges the gap between the two worlds with the similar design languages. So I'm today going to talk about trends in interior design, and I would like to bring it to your notice that there are none. You need to know who you are, and we generally design through these adjectives. So stay with me while I help you walk through how we use some of these adjectives to translate into our works. So there could be emotions, you could be driven by experience, you could be driven by art, you could be driven by culture, you could be driven by lifestyles, you could be driven by the inhabitants or the clients who are using this space, or the needs or the society. For the society, for example, you've known that art or fashion has evolved before, architecture has, and all of that makes the society together. So there are so many reasons that could inspire and be the reasons for what happens to design. So in our practice, for example, one small image that we'll be using from the City Palace. So this is the space that we are going to talk about. In this space, for example, these are the keywords that I would use to describe what we've done here: the culture, the revival, the need, inspiration. So you see there's a little baitak that is made, and right behind it is the dome structure, and it's in the center of the city palace, and he wanted a space, the client wanted a space which he could use to have his meeting while still enjoying the view of the Lake Pachola, while it could have the shelter from the sun and the rain. The idea is simple, but I would call it a living sculpture because it's all hand done by the local artisans. We've given them a form because we didn't want to overpower what is existing there. It's sort of a memory and a shadow of what exists, and yet it serves the functionality of the space and the needs of the client, that was to have meetings, enjoy the lake, enjoy the sunsets, or have a shelter while having rains and still enjoying it. This is the other project, The Minimalist, in Greater Noida, that we just saw, which was covered by Architectural Digest. So he had two houses above each other, and it is the peak of the pandemic, and he wants to combine the two houses. So what we do is, on the lower floor, we have all the formal spaces like dining, living, and other spaces, and for the elderly mother. And on the upper floor, we have all the informal spaces like informal living room, bedrooms, others. So in this project, I would say that we have used these adjectives as to translate into our design, which is society, lifestyle, mood, and it's the peak of the pandemic. So the idea is, because you can't go outdoors, we bring the outdoors indoors. So you have to have a neutral palette in order to do so. On the left is the formal living room, on the right is the informal living room. You've seen that we have broken down the walls, let the exterior come in interiors, so that you're able to spend as much as time possible in these spaces, and which can cater to your different evolving moods, where the interiors do not overpower what you have to do and live in these spaces. So on the left is another bedroom, and the right is a master bedroom. And you see, in this case, we have camouflaged the windows with fluted glasses, because behind is the view of other buildings. So while you're in the pandemic and you're caged inside your houses, we don't want you to feel caged. So here we have blocked the views, and in the front we have let the views come in because we have more greens there. This is few other images. On the left is the staircase which adorns the family pictures. In the center we have the powder bathroom. On the right we have the dining area. You see, it's all neutral. It can sustain all kinds of moods, emotions, occasions, and lifestyles. This is other project in Goa that we have recently finished. We call it European Dreams. So this is the ground floor of that space. We have a beautiful pool. We have a banyan tree, which is the driving force of this project. And this is the first floor of the project. This is the aerial view, wherein these are the adjectives that we have used, which is moods, emotions, experience, inspiration, and lifestyle. The client lives in London, and he wanted to have a holiday home in Goa. So we wanted to translate that European lifestyle in his tropical house, while he doesn't lose the touch of home, but can still enjoy the tropical weather in the country. So there are times that you get inspired through visual images. In my understanding, from this image, what I can understand is Lux. It's one of my memories from when you go to royal concert houses in Amsterdam. There are breaks in between, then one can enjoy wine. There is gilded frames, and then you have chandeliers. So for me, this visual image is expressing a mood and also colors. So how that we have translated that is into this powder room of this area is all dark and cozy and gilded. So you're translated back and transformed into that time. So for example, this is another image that has been taken as an inspiration. The Chanel No. 5, the iconic Chanel perfume, luxury perfume, the red nail paint, that is an accent, and the crisp white shirt of the elegance. So that translates in color of beiges, red. So we also do styling in our projects. So if you see all the napkins, the napkin rings are all hand-picked and styled for the client. So for me, this image translates into this space wherein you can see the beiges, you can see red as an accent color, you can see black of the shirt button that has been colored in the board architraves, and the frame around the old maps of Paris and around the table mats that you see. The same image, because living and dining shares the same space, so the same image is translated into visual expression of interior design in this, wherein you see the pops of red as an accent and base is a neutral color palette again. Now there's another project that we would like to share with you is Dance of Surrealism. We call it Dance of Surrealism. Is another holiday home in Goa. So this is the ground floor, you enter, and then you have the pool, and this is the first floor of the property. So to express this, I would say we have used these keywords to translate into for this project, which is lifestyle, art, emotions, inspiration, and inhabitants. So art and emotions, you would see how we have used them. And inhabitants are from Delhi, and they have wanted a colorful, vibrant house for their holiday home in Goa. So before we delve into what we did, I need to explain and share why it's called Dance of Surrealism. So if we've all known that there have been so many art movements across the world, Surrealism being one of them, which was the after effects of World War I, wherein the artists started expressing themselves into illogical scenes. So to say, the word illogical is subjective to one's understanding. And so the idea is that they were allowed to express their unconscious mind. There are status of realities, which is also, I feel, are subjective. So dream reality, super reality, or surreality. Now, at that time, it was expressed in the medium of painting, film, photography, and other media. Today, we have used that language to express in the contemporary way and used interior design as a medium to express that. So, we all know Salvador Dali. We have all seen his images a lot. And this is one of his very famous artworks where he's blurring the boundaries of reality or surreality or hard or soft concept of time. This is another very famous artwork of Salvador Dali wherein he's painting the portrait of Pablo Picasso. Now that's me visiting this largest museum of the world in Girona near Barcelona, which is designed by Salvador Dali and houses the largest collection of Salvador Dali in the world. So 264 weeks ago, I was wondering why is Pablo Picasso pissed at Dali? Of course, if you paint his portrait, that's Pablo Picasso there, and he's painted his portrait and understood him as this person. So I had the opportunity to see. So today, while working as an interior designer, those part of your journeys act as an inspiration background. So if you see, the logical idea of having an arch is a simple arch. While we have tried breaking that logic with the illogical sense of having an inverted arch right next to it. So on the left is the conceptual sketch while we were thinking of this project. But if you see, it blends in very easily into this contemporary space today, wherein we've used a normal arch. If you see on the TV panel, fluted, then the inverted arch, and then again the open regular arch. In this project, all the artworks on the wall are from my own private collection of the travel photography. This frame is near Salvador Dali's museum, wherein you would see this horse just hanging around on the railing like that. So that also draws inspiration for colors, such as you see the blue butterfly, which goes on the blue of the ceiling, the rose gold that you would see interacts with the cushions, and also the rose gold mirror in the dining area. The same space, if you see, it's the entrance foyer. The client liked the blast of colors, so we have used that in the flooring. And this is the other side of that inverted arches. And then you see how it blends into today's luxury, even that illogical, logical sense, and you find your way of translating those. So we have also styled and designed these spaces. This is the view from the dining, looking at those inverted arches. So that logic and illogical sense of inverted arches continues in the staircase. If you see the scale and proportion, and that's why there is a human walking to make you understand the scale and proportion. Again, it's illogical and to give it a logic sense in today's world. And we have highlighted the architraves with a pop of color to make it relevant and make it stand out. But if you see, there are regular architraves and arches, and then it just blends in the contemporary space today and how. I would like to thank you for your time and attention and listening to me today. Thank you.